What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and that was pretty awesome last night. I'm not gonna lie. Disappointing result, but being at the game, it's always so much fun. I've gotten to do it for the past 2 years, actually. Last year I went and watched them play PSG in North Carolina. The year before that I watched them play Inter Milan in Miami. So this one was definitely a lot farther away, because I live in Georgia, so had to drive to Michigan. And then last night we drove most of the way back. We stopped for a few hours, or stopped to sleep for pretty much a few hours from 3 to 6. And then had to wake up and drive the rest of the way back because me and my dad both have work today. So I'm running on like 6 hours of sleep right now over the past 2 days. So if I'm really out of it, that's why. But anyway, so Chelsea versus Real Madrid. I was actually there. It was awesome. A whole lot of fun. We put ourselves in a pretty good area. First of all, 4 rows behind the goal where all 5 goals were scored. That was cool. But also we were in a section where it felt like there was a lot of Chelsea support from like people that may have traveled over from England to watch, because they knew all the chants. They were doing all the different chants. I don't really know. I know a few, obviously, but there are some chants that you can't hear when you're watching the Premier League on TV because the fans are doing it, and all you just hear is a bunch of noise. So it was really fun to hear some of those chants. Some of them were not exactly appropriate to say right now. But anyway, if you want to see pictures, I actually didn't get any of the 5 goals, picture-wise or video-wise. But I did get one video. It was Batshuayi's chance that Casillas had to save. It was a pretty good shot. It's all on my Instagram. I will leave my Instagram profile name down in the description if you want to follow me and see all those pictures. But yeah, I did get a few really good shots, and it was just a very good positioning. It was really fun to be there. It felt like there were slightly more Chelsea fans too, so it was kind of cool to see the difference supporting, how many came to support each side. And it sounded like there were more Chelsea fans, at least. It may have just been where I was sitting, but when Marcelo went off, of course, all the Real Madrid fans were cheering and applauding because he did have a great game. But when Hazard came on, it sounded like twice as loud, all the Chelsea fans cheering that he came on the field. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but it sounded like there were more Chelsea fans. So, good representation, guys. So anyway, onto the game. Obviously, this is going to be a bit harder for me to talk about just because from my positioning, it was sort of hard to see certain things. However, what was really nice was that we got to see a lot of defending on our side of the field in the first half. So I'm sitting there watching them defend right in front of me. And in the second half, we got to see a lot more attacking from Chelsea. So we got to see that right in front of us as well. First half was obviously not that good. In fact, I think part of it is because Real Madrid is the first real world-class quality that we've faced this preseason so far. I'm not saying anything bad about Liverpool, but they kind of suck. Real Madrid is a good team. Even without Ronaldo and Bale and Benzema, there's still a lot of quality on that team. And even when they brought out a lot of their youngsters, there's still a lot of quality there too. So this is not an easy team to face, even without some of their first-team starters. And that showed in the first half. I mean, they really took the game to us. But I think a part of it, too, is there are a few players that, in my opinion, did not perform well yesterday. First of all, Begovic. I think there was talk that Chelsea were going to get another backup keeper to replace Begovic. I think last night sort of proved why we need a better backup, because the first goal, deflection, not much he can do about that. I can understand that. The second one, it's near post. Matic has cut off the far post. He's put Marcelo on his left foot. The only option he's got is near post, and you get beat near post? His angle was completely off. Like, I could see from where I was sitting. It was right in front of me. His angle was completely off. He left like this much of the near post open for Marcelo to score, and Marcelo scored. So, very disappointing there. And then the third one, all he had to do was just jump But he didn't. He just sort of threw a hand up there and fell over, and it goes up over. It was a nice shot, but as a keeper, you still got to do better than that. You can't get beat over your head when you're standing inside your 6-yard box. If it's one thing if you're standing out a little bit, somebody beat you over your head, but he was standing inside the 6, and he still got beat over his head. That just proves. And honestly, after that, Courtois started warming up on the sideline after that goal. So I think they even noticed, okay, if something else bad happens with him, if he makes another mistake, we may have to make a change early, because I don't know if it, well, honestly, it's not just been that night. I didn't get to see the game, but the game against Rapid Vienna, he didn't do too well there either. So I don't know what to expect out of him. Some games it felt like he does okay. Against Liverpool he made a few good saves, but last night just was not his night at all. Played really poorly. Made a few good saves, but missed the most important saves. So the other player that played really poorly was once again Loftus-Cheek. You gotta loan him out. You gotta loan him out. Tell them to do what you're trying to do. Play him up at striker. I understand what he's trying to do, Conte, but it's not working. The first half, we hardly created anything because Loftus-Cheek is just not good enough to play that position yet. He's not good enough to be the target man yet. He's not good enough to hold up the ball on his own. There were several chances where the ball's played up the field, and in the first half, Loftus-Cheek loses it instantly. Now we're on defense again. Second half, Michi, he gets the ball. He can hold it up for a second. We can now get out a little bit. Now we've got people pushing up the field. We can play the ball around a little bit. It was much better because Michi knows how to play that, and he knows how to hold up the ball well. So either, work on it with Loftus-Cheek and training for a little bit longer before you actually do it in a game, or get him out on loan and tell them, hey, play him up top, use him as your target man, get him better at that, because right now he's not good enough to be there. We've got at least 3 better options than him. So those were the 2 poor performances of the night. Some of the performances, Pedro, he works hard, always does, but not really having a good game last night. Lost the ball a few times. Defensively did okay, put in some good challenges, but with the ball just didn't do as much as he normally does. Oscar, I thought, had a pretty poor first half, got subbed at halftime, just didn't. He's supposed to be, he's in Fabregas's position, so he's supposed to be the one that creates. He's supposed to be the one that sends the ball upfield, tries to find that creative pass to open up the play and get our attack going. He's holding the ball too long. He's trying to dribble. Sometimes he lost it and started Real Madrid's counterattack. So I thought he had a fairly average game, had a few moments where he did stuff good, and then had quite a few moments where he did stuff bad. Matic, once again, the thing about Matic that's different than Oscar is that I've seen Matic with quality. 2 years ago, he had a lot of quality, he had a lot of talent. You could tell he could get the job done. Last year, he didn't, and the beginning of this year so far, he really hasn't. But I still have hope for him, and I understand, Conte is sort of getting his fitness up. He's played him 2 matches in a row, the full 90 minutes. I think he's trying to get that fitness up because he knows Matic can be that player to hold that position. But right now, he's not playing like it. So hopefully he steps it up. If not, N'Golo Kante is going to have his chance to sort of take that spot away from him because he's really not cutting it right now. Although he did have a few moments in the second half where he did some good stuff, but first half especially was just really, really bad. So, and then the other performance was Cahill. Cahill, he's always a defender that can have a great match and then the next match just really stink it up. I've never really understood what to expect from him because there are times where it feels like he's putting in great challenges, he's stealing the ball back, he is shutting people down, and then there's times like last night he's being pulled out of position on the second goal. The second half, there were a couple times. There was the one where the kid just straight up megged him because he comes out squared up and just rolls it right through his leg. Had no chance of stopping it. I don't know what to expect from him, and it kind of scares me because Terry is consistently just putting in a good performance. It's either a good or a great performance from him. I hardly ever see a bad one. With Cahill, you have good performance and then a bad performance. And sometimes in the same game, like last night, you have moments where he's putting in a good challenge and then the very next second, he's diving into a challenge. And you don't really know what to do with him because it's like Cahill, you do good and then you do bad. And when you do bad, it's really bad and you get embarrassed. So he had a fairly average game last night and had a few moments where it was just really embarrassing. The second goal, like I said, got really pulled out of position, and that just opened up the way for Marcelo to make the run in, and he had all the time in the world. So the rest of the team had a fairly overall good game. The defense, I thought, did very well second half, aside from Cahill. But the first half, I thought they really struggled, and a lot of that was because of all the pressure that was being put on them because we couldn't get the ball out of our own half. But Aina, not as good as he did against Liverpool, I thought, but last night did okay, especially when you consider the fact that Real Madrid was just constantly coming up his side. The fact that they didn't get more chances than they did, I think, is partly due to him. Terry, once again, just led the back line well, put in a lot of good challenges, and hardly looked like he took a wrong step, and that's amazing at his age. And then Azpilicueta, fairly average game, a couple moments where he really did well. One-on-one, he really held up the player and then took the ball back, or at least gave our team time to get back and defend. So up into the midfield with the other, we had on the wing, we had Willian and Pedro. I already said Pedro. We had Willian out there too. He did fairly well. He got subbed at halftime, and I think part of that is due to the fact that he played a lot and very hard the last two games, and I think this is just a chance to give him a rest because you could tell by the end of the first half that his legs were starting to go. He wasn't really as effective as he normally is, so I don't mind seeing him get subbed out, but even on tired legs, he still manages to do some incredible things and work the ball around in ways that I just can't imagine how he can do it as much as he does. So, and then Traore, I thought, had a poor first half, but then whenever Michy came out, it was kind of like that changed it for him because in the first half he was doing some good things when he could get the ball, but then a majority of the time we're on our defensive third, and so Traore's having to be pulled back and help defend. Whenever we got up in the attack in the second half, he looked really good. He looked clever with the ball. Michy combined very well. So I think part of the reason why he didn't have such a good first half is because he didn't really have a good partner to work with in Ruben Loftus-Cheek. When you got Michy out there, that's when he really started to perform well. So I think he's a player who can be a secondary striker, but you need a first striker with the quality that Loftus-Cheek does not have. Second half, a lot of good changes, I thought. Cuadrado, Michy, and Chalobah came out for Oscar, Willian, and Ruben. And it was good. It was a very good change. Chalobah changed the game, in my opinion. Just Real Madrid, part of it, yeah, they made a lot of changes in the second half. I understand that. It wasn't the team they had in the first half. I get that. But at the same time, even when they had a lot of the team that started, they weren't creating as many chances as they did in the first half. And a lot of that was due to Chalobah. He's putting in good challenges. He's pressuring so quickly. I love to see it because that wasn't happening in the first half. The first goal was completely because nobody stepped out to pressure, so Marcelo just had time and space and just hit a shot. And it happened to deflect in. And nobody's stepping to him. Traore wasn't stepping, Matic wasn't stepping, Oscar wasn't stepping. Nobody stepped. Second half, Chalobah was always stepping. And I love to see that because, one, he's young. He's like 19, I think. So that's awesome. And the fact that you think about what Conte does so well, N'Golo Conte, he just puts so much pressure. That's what he did for Leicester last season. He constantly moving, constantly putting pressure on the ball, constantly closing down, not letting a guy have time to work and figure out what he wants to do. If Chalobah can do that too, that's great. I would love to see him out there more. I'd love to see him get a chance to really be a part of the first team this year because from what I've seen so far, he looks incredible in this preseason. And I really hope he can carry it on into the Premier League and actually get a chance to work into the first team because that would be quite an achievement. And on top of that, if we have him for several more years, that's even better. So I thought he did very well. Cuadrado came on, did some good stuff, much better than he did against Liverpool, where I was expecting a whole lot from him, and then he just didn't do anything. It was kind of disappointing. And then Michy came on, and he had a good second half. He created some good chances. The one that I have on Instagram was the best chance that he created. But on top of that, when Hazard came on later, he also combined well with Hazard. And that if we end up losing Costa, that Michy and Hazard up top, that looks really, really good. I'd love to see more of that. So Hazard came on later, completely changed the game as well. Where Chalobah provided us more assurance in defense, Hazard provided us more assurance in offense. And honestly, on the wing, he did well. He pressured the ball well. He created some good chances. But once Conte moved him to kind of that holding striker position, it was just so much better. I think that is his position. He can probably play any of the attacking positions that he wants to, but I think that one, he's going to score us a lot of goals. He's going to score us a lot of goals, and he's probably going to create a lot of goals too. So I love that change. Moses came on, did well too. Just the same old Moses that he's been this entire preseason, just works hard, and he actually didn't have a lot of time on the field as I thought he was going to. I think he only had like 15 minutes, where normally he gets more of a half to work with. And part of that may be because he's had so long to play in the other two games, but he comes on and he does well, like always. And seeing them get 2 goals back is really good to see. Even if it's against Real Madrid's C team, it's still good to see that they're going to fight back. That it's not just, oh, we got scored on 3 times, that's it. No, this is preseason. It's going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. The question is, are you willing to keep fighting and keep working hard to try to get yourself better? And I think that's what we saw in the second half. We saw them working harder. But my main concern overall is that we need more assurance in defense. And I've been saying this, I think, for the past couple videos. That is our biggest problem right now, is our defense. So hopefully we saw some of that last night. Zuma should be coming back fairly soon, I think. He should be recovering from his ACL. But the question that does arise with that is, if he does come back from his ACL injury, is he going to be the same Zuma that we had last season, or is he going to be a bit weaker because of his ACL? And I think we saw that too with Marco van Ginkel. He looked like he was going to be an incredible player, the next Frank Lampard possibly up box to box, and then tore his ACL and came back and just was never the same player. So hopefully that's not the same as Zuma. Hopefully he can come back stronger, still be that nice, assured, young central defender that we need. But we do need to go get another defender just in case, or at least give. We've got Miazga and Hector on the bench, and Tomori. Give some of them a chance in the next couple games. See if they're ready, because if they are, we need to use them. If not, then what we've got right now in defense is not good enough. So either give these youngsters a chance to play and prove themselves, or go get another defender, because that's our biggest problem right now. Midfield is completely fine. Between you look at all the wings that we've got Cuadrado, Willian, Pedro, Moses, and then Kennedy, if you need him, who's also great. In central mid, you've got Fabregas and Conte at least. You've got Matic, who hopefully will get better. You've got Chalobah, who looks incredible. And then Oscar, who just, he'll do at least a decent job in there. And then up top, you've got, for now, Costa. You've got Michy. You've got Traore. You've got Hazard. And then A few other players can play up there as well. So all of that, from defensive mid up to attacking mid up to striker, all of that is fine. We need to improve our defense. And even our fullbacks. You look at our fullbacks. Dave, who's playing fairly well right now. Ana, who's okay, but still young, and you can see that a lot of times. Ivanovic, who struggling with injury, and he didn't look good when he was playing earlier. And then Baba Rahman, who I think is not good enough to be a defender. And that's it. So we need to go get a fullback as well. Really assure our defense, because that is where you'll build a championship team. That's where Mourinho built the championship team 2 years ago, from the defense. So those are my thoughts on the game. It was really fun to be there, even if they did lose. It's always a good atmosphere, and it's always fun to see my favorite team play right in front of me instead of on TV. So it's a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to check out the pictures that I took in the one video, I do have a couple other videos of some of the free kicks, but most of them were not that great. The two good free kicks, one was Cuadrado's. It went over the goal, like this far over the goal, but for some reason my camera didn't catch it. And then the second one was Matic's free kick that, if it hadn't hit the wall, would have been probably unstoppable, because it was one of those that it hit the top of the guy's head, and if it hadn't, you could see it was just bending into that corner. I did catch that one, but anyway, long story short, got a few good pictures, got a couple good videos, so if you want to check those out, like I said, Instagram will be in the description, so check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.